Dear Abby Normals,
Welcome to Deeply Disturbing Things.
the podcast.
This is the part I like.
You say I'm Sarah.
Oh, I'm Sarah. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Naomi. And we're missing Macy.
Yeah.
So we don't have a complete coven.
We're just a line today.
Yeah. So we're two anxious counselors talking about deeply disturbing things. Okay. So last week, this is a semi-personal topic.
Oh, okay.
Last week, I had to have my tooth taken out, my back tooth, because I fractured it.
Oh, how?
I don't know. Like 20 years ago, I got a root canal on it. So I think it just is automatically like
out.
Structurally not as sound
I have
or whatever.
I have like a piece that came out recently in the back that I need to get fixed. Like not the whole, it didn't crack, but a piece, like the filling probably came out.
Yeah, so one of the roots like fractured.
Oh,
I even got a second opinion. No, it was just kind of tender, but no pain.
Sounds painful.
No, it wasn't painful. But I got a second opinion. They're like, yes, it has to come out. And I already like have total dental anxiety.
Right.
So this experience was, while it did not physically hurt because we have the miracle of modern medicine and painkillers,
right? It
was like emotionally torture. It was freaking excruciating.
Yeah.
I'm in the chair, like I'm just like my feet are going and my hands, and I'm just like, because they had to saw the tooth in half. You could break it into
so you
two
could feel like the
no, it's a saw like
oh,
like right in your mouth.
Like not I thought like a mechanical, just like
no, this was like
but still like
table saw, like a mini table saw type thing.
This is like a horror movie.
Yeah, it's like a horror movie.
Nightmares are made of.
So what I said to him after, because he's like, checking, you doing okay? I'm like,
I'm already
the whole
stressed
time
out.
It didn't hurt. So I'm like, yes, thank you, good job, painkiller, and going slow and all that. And I said it's just very unnatural to be having that happening, having the pliers it's back and forth.
Piece of your body being removed. That's weird.
And just the anticipation of pain was there the entire time. Like any second, like, okay, it doesn't hurt now, but any second that could change. When they're sawing into your tooth, they're sawing your tooth in half. It was just awful. I was like emotionally drained after that. Plus, like, after they send you home with the bloody gauze to chew on, it's so gross and awful. So it's, I don't know if you can tell, it's still kind of swollen on one side.
Oh, I couldn't really tell, but now that you're saying it, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, it's better. But so I decided for my topic to do the history of dentistry.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah, that's a common reoccurring nightmare people have though, is missing teeth and like teeth dream, like having problems with your teeth.
Yeah, it's stress related. Like you dream that your teeth are falling out.
Yeah, and even like the front ones. My mom chipped her like not the front tooth, but the one next to it, chipped it in half and had to go and get a new like fake thing made. Where it's like a piece of a tooth in a retainer, and she has to like wear it until they make her a new tooth. And so she had to do all this weird procedure. It's just creepy. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like bone graft stuff in there. So I go back in like a month and they put a fake tooth in.
Oh, okay. So you're getting another tooth put in place.
But it was just awful.
It's like somebody just being invading your space that closely, like just they're like inside you. That's like very invasive. Yeah.
And my dentist did do great.
Yeah.
I did not feel actual pain. It's just like
the concept.
It's just unnatural. Weird. The pliers and the tray of torture devices next to you.
Yeah.
That bib they clip on. I hate that bib. And they're like wiping your gross stuff off. They're like cleaning their instruments on something you have to wear. What the fuck is that?
I used to have very extreme dental anxiety too, and I kind of worked through it. So it doesn't bother me as much anymore, but it's creepy.
I did take a Xanax, but I don't think it even cut it. Oh, because I was just a complete stress ball the entire time.
Yeah, you probably needed more.
They gave me like a weighted blanket and everything. I'm like, oh, it's like my thunder code.
My dentist, the one I used to go to, does like a wax, like paraffin on your hands and puts like mitts on you. So you like, it works though, because it makes you feel like, oh, I'm at the spa, kind of. And you're like, and then they're like, sawing your teeth out.
It's unnatural. Yeah, the sounds, the smells, all of that.
Yeah, the smell. Yeah. It's gaggy.
Yeah. So dentistry, I'm excited to learn about the
Yeah.
history of dentistry.
I am.
It's disturbing.
I like learning about new things.
So it's been around forever because teeth have been around forever.
True statement.
But for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, the only thing to do if you had a painful tooth was to pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
And this was before painkillers. So it was very painful.
They
And
just get people drunk.
well,
right?
Or hold them down and or hold them down.
Like grab onto something.
Yeah, it's just horrible. So research says that tooth pain, like pain in that area, is extraordinary. It's different from other body pains, and that it's just almost unparalleled. So some researchers feel like that pain from those nerves is the worst pain ever. It's called neuralgia, when there's a sharp, shocking pain that follows the path of a nerve. So it's like at least one of the worst pains.
Yeah, it's like a shocking feeling.
Yeah. And I think because it's so close to like your brain and your face, and
it's like the
that makes it worse.
Probably so fast. It's like instant pain.
Instant, yeah. It's bad news.
Like when you stub your toe or something, there's like a delay almost. Like you hit and you're like, oh, here it comes, and then it's
not as bad.
Yeah, but tooth is like.
And the whole time I was just anticipating pain. Like it never actually hurt, but I was acting as if.
It's like interesting. That's like with the tattoo. It was very much like, oh, I wonder how this is gonna feel. Does it really hurt? Like, what is that feeling? And then when he started, I'm like, well, yeah, it's painful. You're ready for pain. Yeah, I was ready for pain, and then it really wasn't that painful.
So I'm gonna not go back thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Okay.
Just 500 years.
Okay.
And this is just from a Western perspective, because that's most of the sources I could find. So the past 500 years is when dentistry transformed from a horror show to modern science. But for me, it's still a horror show.
Yeah.
Once I told a dentist, or I don't know who it was, maybe it was the root canal guy way back when, that like I hated going to the dentist, and he got really mad at me and kind of tried to flip the tables on me and like, well, how do you think it feels to be hated by everybody? I was like, hey, I'm in the chair, guy.
Yeah.
Let's calm that down.
Wait, I don't know if this is part of your information, but I have heard that it is a high suicide rate of a profession to be a dentist.
Not looked into that.
Have you heard this information?
I feel like anecdotally I have, but I
and as well as like postal workers, which is where the term going postal. But the dentist one,
like active shooter.
We should look that up.
We should.
Yeah, we need more info on that. Statistics.
Yeah. So
but he got mad at you. That's like weird.
He got mad at me. And then I was young. I was like, I would have been like, I'm getting up out of this chair right now because I can't have an aggressive. Well, I probably was already like bibbed up and
strapped down.
I didn't have any power.
He's like, shut up. That's why he likes that job.
Barbers play an important part in the history of dentistry. Did you know that? So hundreds of years ago, barbers didn't just do hair. They also were dentists and surgeons.
I've heard something about that before.
So they would provide services a lot of times to poorer people who couldn't afford to see a physician. So the barber pole with the red and white stripes?
The red represents blood, right?
Yeah.
I've heard that before, yeah.
It represents blood because they would often do bloodletting, which is where they used to think that was kind of the cure-all.
Right.
Like, oh, have a cold, let's just let you bleed out a while.
Was it George Washington, I think, died that way?
From bloodletting? I don't know.
Because
you're bringing up so many questions.
He was sick or some kind of weird. He had some ailment, and then they did the bloodletting to help heal him, and then they killed him. It was a
bad idea because you need your blood.
They let too much blood out.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. You can get a little bit out and then stop it.
Seal it up.
You gotta turn that faucet off.
Yes.
So this is pretty much like to cure anything, any infection, any disease, any illness.
Mental illness.
But the bloody bandages that were associated with bloodletting inspired the red and white stripes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess the shape of the barber pole was what people would grip during the procedure to like make your blood flow. So I guess maybe like major veins pump blood or something.
Okay.
So barbers still use those today though, which I think is really crazy.
Like, that little symbol outside.
Yeah. And
that's right. I like that. That's interesting information.
So pliers were used to extract teeth, and they still are. I mean, it's not like
pretty much
pliers out of your kitchen drawer. It's like specialized,
the same like
tools.
Design.
Yeah, I mean, my dentist was telling the helper like, hand me the forceps. And then no, the other size. Like they had a little back and forth. I'm like, okay, let's get the right size, people.
They when they're doing their codes, I'm trying to like decode like what they're talking about, and like when they do the little check on your gums and there's numbers, I always like I know what it means now.
Yeah, I asked them. I'm like, okay, what's a good grade?
I need to know.
Like a grade grubber at heart.
Yeah, I need to know exactly what's happening as you guys are doing. Can be a dentist now.
So what was great about this place I went, like the helper person asked like, how much do you want to know? Like,
I want to know all of it.
Because she's like, some people want to know everything, some people don't want to know anything. They just want to put in their headphones, sunglasses, and like disappear. I'm like, I want middle ground. Like, I don't want surprises. I'd like maybe updates, like we're halfway, 3/4, but maybe not every single detail. Like now the shot is going into your infected tooth. We see pus coming out. Like, I don't need that level.
Yeah, like I don't need the level of like how much blood is coming. Like, oh no, we're at like a risky level here. Then I would panic.
I'm a bleeder, you know that?
Yeah. So they have to like use that suction thing the whole time to suck all your blood out.
Well, I like it anyway. I always request extra suction.
I like that suction too.
I do. I don't like it grosses me out. Anything like sitting in there. I'm like, suck it out constantly.
Yeah, it feels better to have not that.
Like they should just like leave it in there, just sit it in there.
I think they do sometimes.
Just rest it over my lip. So the instruments though used to not be like delicate high-tech instruments. So
their tray does look like a torture tray. Like when you walk in, I'm like, you see it.
Yeah, you see them all lined up, and I'm like, I look and don't look. I'm like, I kind of want to look, but I don't want to look. Like, what's that one?
You're like,
yeah, exactly. Like I watch a scary movie. Yeah,
it is like a scary movie.
Like, what are they going to be doing with that? So in the old days, it was just like a big, like thick iron pliers thing. So it would also remove bone and skin. It was just like ripping out
your whole jaw.
But pulling teeth was not only done because you had a painful tooth, it was also actually used as a form of torture, and they would perform it publicly. You know how they used to like to teach everyone a lesson, like do the hangings and things publicly to just tell everybody, like, you better follow the law or this could happen to you. So you could go and see somebody have his teeth pulled out.
Wow.
No painkiller. Let me remind you.
Popcorns, concession stands on the side.
Well, the hangings and stuff, families would come into town. They'd bring picnic lunch, bring the kids.
Yep. I wonder, depending on the crime, like which tooth they would choose. Like the worst crime, it would be closer to the front.
Oh, so you'd see it?
Well, I just feel like if you get your front tooth pulled, that's so much worse, because then like your whole rest of your life, you're like, hi, I have no tooth here. And that's showing you that I'm a criminal.
Oh, okay.
Compared to like in the back.
Where it's more hidden.
Yep.
Maybe they let you choose. Which tooth do you want me to pull out?
Maybe.
Oh, if that's twisted though, then it makes you part of your own torture, like you're complicit.
Yeah.
So if you had to have a tooth pulled out, it was barbaric, and the barber surgeon, as they called them, was often the only person available. So it actually was excruciating, and people would die sometimes from the procedure. Like you might bleed too much, could get an infection, just a bad deal. So historians feel like this is why there's this like almost collective unconscious link between dentistry and horror together in our minds.
Interesting.
Because it did have such a horror history.
What is it? Transgenerational transmission of trauma.
Intergenerational trauma.
Yeah, where you just goes through and you don't even know.
I mean, I know I've had bad like personal experiences when I was younger. Like they didn't used to kill the pain all the way. Like it was bad.
Oh, I had some like nurse put her hand over my mouth when I was little because I was like crying and she was trying to like make me like be quiet.
I had them hold me down once when they're just like, we got to just get this done. Just get her done.
Now for my kids' dentist, they're amazing. Kids Dental in Liberty Lake. And they have like video games in the front room and slides. So they make the whole experience so fun for the kids. Fun. Yeah. And so it's trying to help, ease. I think that carries on into adulthood and makes you feel like it connects like more of a fun, pleasant experience. So you're not scared later on.
Yeah, well, my kids grew up with kids dentistry, and
and there's TVs on the ceiling.
Yeah, they grew up with that
and
stuff.
then they get prizes at the end if they don't have cavities. So like the whole thing now that they're getting.
I'm gonna have to ask them how they feel because they had the different experience.
Oh yeah, I bet they would say.
I mean, they go to the dentist. They don't ever be. They're not like me. Like, oh, I'm disappointed. Like I have to clear my calendar for 5 days because I'm like emotionally distraught. I have to get my Xanax on board.
Yeah,
they just go to the dentist and. Doesn't seem to be a big
I wonder what the connection is because my fears, the flying, spiders, and dentists.
Same. That's my factor.
my coven of fears. Oh, and death. And death, right?
Yeah. Well, ultimately, I think that's the common denominator that you figured out.
Because planes, dentists, and spiders can cause death. But
that's probably spiders probably not, but it feels like if I feel like if one touched me, I would instantly die from fear. I would just it would like put its creepy little hairy leg out and go like that, and I would just die from fright.
I mean, obviously that spider fell on Macy's head, and I ran to save my own life.
You saved yourself. That was your instinct. I mean, that's how we really tell people's true characters in those moments.
Yep.
Those decisions.
Yep.
So back in the day, the dental profession, was not held in high regard because it was performed by barbers who they were, not thought to be like a high profession, like a physician or something like that. And also the cause of toothache back in the day was thought to be worms that would burrow into your teeth.
Ew.
This was believed in Europe up until the 1700s, so not even like super long time ago.
Weird.
They thought there was tooth worms.
Weird. Like, why would that?
I don't know, but I suddenly had a flashback to eating all those worms in Paul's cherry tree.
Oh. Wait a second.
We're not here for that one?
No.
When my sister was here and he invited me and my sister to pick cherries off his cherry tree, and then we were just like popping them in our mouth, like probably 50 while we were doing it. And later we got back to the house, cracked one open.
Then you saw them
full of live, wiggly, white cherry fruit fly worms. We were devastated.
Okay, wait. So that's when you get fruit flies in your house after having fruit. It's because there was like worms and eggs that were in the fruit that you brought home.
That I had.
Probably. Yeah.
So I ate live wiggly little worms. Like we cut them in half and saw them all. So disgusting.
Did you throw up or you were like,
I was sick. We were both sick. My sister was more traumatized than me.
Oh.
I went immediately, took a couple shots of whiskey. I'm like, kill him.
So they don't like burrow into your
hatch.
I
didn't want them to
intestines
hatch and then fly out my mouth. Like I would cough and like a whole swarm would fly out.
Ew.
That was last summer.
Lost Boys.
No, I was so mad at Paul. I bring it up still.
Poor Paul.
I like to bring things up forever.
You didn't know.
I never let him go.
I know. That's a good one to hold on to.
It is, right? Justified. Keeps him, on the right track. Okay, so dentistry is this like kind of back alley thing. It's also torture. People would die. It's performed by dentists, self-taught, I'm assuming, or maybe they did an apprenticeship with another dentist. But then this fellow John Hunter came along and he wrote this book called The Natural History of Human Teeth. And it's actually really cool. He was the first one that really created a classification system and names for teeth that we still use today, like incisors, canines, bicuspids, and molars. So he developed a system to classify the teeth. He named them, and then he made all these like really cool sketches. And this is still in place today, this system. Here's another reason I don't trust dentists.
Please tell. Do tell.
When I was like,
Do tell.
I don't know, Brace's age, like 12-ish, the practice of the day, if you had crowding, was to pull your teeth out. So they pulled 4 of my adult teeth out. I have 4 less teeth than everybody else.
Oh.
That was the practice of the day.
What do they do now then?
I don't have the pointed.
Oh, they took your vampire teeth out?
Yeah, I'm really mad about it. So I think that's part of my deep-seated
hatred.
Yeah.
And that was non-consensual, really, if you think about it, because they basically told you this is what we have to do.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
and my, mom and everybody like just went along because they're the expert.
It was easier for them.
But I guess that was only the way for like 1 or 2 years. I was like unluckily in that window. But every time I go to the dentist, when they do the assessment, they're like, yeah, doesn't have this tooth, this tooth, this tooth, and this tooth. I'm like, I know. Stop bringing it up.
I want my teeth. So maybe the fact that you were getting that tooth pulled was also connected to that.
No, I didn't want it. I'm like, that's one of my teeth.
That's one of mine.
That's one of my teeth. I want it. That's why I went and got a second opinion and everything. Yeah, but
that is messed
also
up.
why I'm gonna do the implant thing, even though it's like $3,000 because it's worth it.
You want a tooth back in there?
Yeah, I want my teeth. Even if it's my fake tooth.
Now you got a fake tooth for.
It's actually supposed to be like really strong, so I'll be doing some chomping.
That's good.
And lasts for a long time. Okay, so wealthy people
would get gold teeth.
They would sometimes try to attempt to replace a tooth that had been removed. So this time, the only cure was take the tooth out. So wealthy people would try to replace it. So
that's what I was thinking when you were telling my story, or your story.
That I got fake teeth put in.
If you could now they could separate them out and pop
them back. I should have
put some implant vampires in there and then all of a sudden your smile is gonna be
maybe I'll just have them sharpen them. You know how people do that.
Well, actually, now of course I'm staring at your teeth.
Don't look.
Don't look at my teeth. But this tooth that you have here, it kind of has a little bit, both of them have them, so you can't tell. That one has a little pointies on them.
I think there's the pointy, and then there's the sort of pointy near it.
Yeah. So I would have never known if you didn't tell me.
Well,
but you're still mad.
I'm still mad about it. Yeah. So across civilizations in time, animal teeth and human teeth that sometimes came from poor people or from slaves that were alive.
Oh my goodness.
Were used to replace people's missing teeth.
Wow.
But these teeth rarely took because they just didn't have the technology, and there was a risk of contracting infections such as syphilis, which I thought was interesting. So in the early 19th century, I feel like the 1800s are just the hotbed for everything, super
they were just
weird,
practicing everything,
weird and gross, and WTF. So during this time, human teeth became really valuable, and grave robbers could get rich digging up corpses, pulling out their teeth, and then selling the teeth from the dead to make dentures for the rich.
Weird. That's very deeply disturbing fact.
Yeah. So at first they were just trying to put the tooth up in the former location, but now they started making dentures, which was a whole apparatus that would go
in. Came from dead body teeth.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yep. So this was the way it went for a while, and grave robbers got really rich. But then the market
wait, you would have so your denture set would be made of all kinds, or they would try to take a full set out of someone's mouth. But if they didn't have all the teeth, then they'd have to piece. You'd have a hodgepodge.
You might have a hodgepodge
denture set. Yeah. It's an animal tooth here.
But at least you can chomp some meat.
Extra pointies.
So this is for rich people.
Wow.
It was like, something that set you apart, that you could have your dead guy dentures.
Gross.
But then the market was flooded because there was the Battle of Waterloo. And so mass casualties from this war, and so all of the dead and dying had their teeth pulled out, which was a lot of people. So dead and dying, so they weren't dead all the way,
No.
getting their teeth ripped out to sell them to make dentures.
How awful.
So, but because there were so many, the market was flooded and the cost came down, and now even the middle class could afford a new grill made out of dead guy teeth.
Wow.
But the teeth didn't last forever. They would become putrid and rotten before long.
Ew.
So people had really bad breath.
What's the time frame till they start rotting, do you think?
Well, did you keep your kids' baby teeth?
Yeah.
And did they disintegrate?
No, not yet.
Mine kids did.
Not that I've like checked them recently,
Check
but
'em. My kids is disintegrated.
really?
They kind of broke apart and stuff.
Oh.
I don't think I stored them right. I just had them in like a sandwich baggie. Maybe you're supposed to.
Mine too. Oh, and
Go
well,
look.
with dentures, you're supposed to put them in some kind of a solution to like clean them and keep them fresh. Like
I
you're
don't
not
think
just
they're into that at that time.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I can see why it got bad back then because there was no way to
Well,
like
it's a living tooth. These are real human teeth, so it's a.
which is even different than right now. It's fake.
I mean, it's not a living tooth, but like it was alive. Like now, dentures are made out of fake
So
teeth.
they had bad death.
Like my implant tooth is going to be a fake thing.
They had death breath.
Yeah, they had death breaths.
That's gross.
Probably so bad.
I would have never known. This is very interesting.
So real teeth, they would just become putrid and rot, very stinky. So we needed new inventions to protect our existing teeth from decay. So one day there was this prisoner named William Addis in London, and he was doing kind of what they did then, was they clean their teeth with an old rag, if at all. And he spotted like a broom across the prison cell, and he like had the light bulb moment, like, oh, bristles. And so he was the inventor of
the toothbrush,
the modern mass-produced toothbrush. So he attached pig bristles to a handle made of cow bone.
Oh, like the little tiny hairs.
Yeah, because it couldn't be too hard,
right,
or too soft.
Yeah.
Like dentists, actually, when they give you a toothbrush, it's not the hard. Like you feel like you want the hard because it cleans it better.
But that scrapes the enamel off.
Yeah, but it's too rough. So you have to actually deal with like the softer. So
he went from prisoner to inventor.
Yeah.
Multimillionaire. Good for him.
I mean, those prisoners often are very, innovative.
You have time on your hands.
They're making them shivs.
You got to imagine, use
tattoo guns, making them out of like, a spork.
They make homemade alcohol in the toilet.
Yeah.
All kinds of interesting things going on there.
So in 1780, the first modern mass-produced toothbrush was born, and by 1873, Colgate was mass-producing toothpaste. So these developments were much needed because before that, if one was attempting to clean their teeth, you might make a paste from adding like water to powdered eggshells or ashes from ox hooves or brick dust. So imagine like rubbing water and brick dust paste on your teeth.
You know what? I wanted to try that
charcoal.
Not that exactly, but like, they have the charcoal stuff now, or this like purple. Have you seen them? It's like a purple paste.
Well, just be careful because these things removed your enamel. And eventually you'd have no teeth.
The purple stuff is I don't know if the charcoal is, but the purple stuff is supposed to like whiten your teeth because something about the color of the purple like takes away like stains and stuff.
Nice.
But it's if you see the people putting it in their mouth, and it looks really funny when they're like smiling with all this purple or black from the charcoal.
Look into it.
Okay.
Did you see that trend a couple years ago where young people were shaving down their healthy teeth to put like crowns on all of them to have a perfect
No.
unquote perfect set?
Nope.
It's disturbing.
Oh, I
Like you
bet.
shouldn't do that unless something's wrong with your tooth.
Yeah. And doing it themselves?
No,
Oh,
going to somewhere.
Oh. And the dentists are like, okay, we're making money, sure.
Yeah, it's just I think it'll feel it's unethical.
Yeah.
So those former before like toothpaste, those former methods would eventually remove the enamel, which is bad. And in ancient Rome, you might even rinse your mouth with urine to get a pearly white appearance. So that's another option.
So pee will take the stains
I
out?
guess so.
Hmm.
I don't know whose urine, your own urine,
Hopefully
someone else's
your own.
urine of a friend. And back in the day, people didn't like connect like what we ate or drank with dental health.
Like sugar.
The main enemy is sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So sugar is unique because it creates an acid that erodes tooth enamel and leads to cavities. I don't eat a lot of sugar.
I don't either. I used to, but
Yeah.
not for the past like so many years, maybe like 5 or 6 years.
I mean, I don't like crave candy,
I
luckily.
used to. I did have a sweet tooth and loved chocolate and ice cream and all that stuff. And even like donuts
like
and cake.
a little vegan ice cream.
But now, like if I see donuts and like really sugary stuff, it's almost like grosses me out, which is great. I'm like, thank goodness that I'm like not. But chocolate still is my weakness. Like if I see chocolate, then I
dark chocolate I love.
That's good for you. So.
That's what I tell myself.
Yeah.
Same with red wine. It's
It
all
is.
food.
It's fine.
So dentistry evolved to try to fix the tooth rather than pull it out. Because before the only fix was you have
We're being proactive now.
toothache, rip it out.
Not reactive.
When I was getting my second opinion, like you could hear everybody talking in all the offices, which I didn't think was cool. So I could totally hear
as a therapist. That's
I'm
like
confidentiality, yo.
Yeah.
So I could hear this poor guy next door like telling his whole story about how he's having this horrible pain, and he's like, I just want the tooth out at this point. Like I can't even eat on that side.
Poor guy.
So I mean, tooth pain is real.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just want it to stop no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So dentists began using mechanical means to drill the rot out of teeth. So this is where the drilling starts coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it.
That sound.
The drills, and then that saw was worse. It was like a saw sound when they're sawing my tooth in half. And I'm just thinking, like, how do you know when to stop sawing down? Like, you're using a saw to
and then all of a sudden the blood just starts like.
Yeah. I mean, I was living in a horror film.
You were actually in the movie Saw.
I was in it, yes. I mean, it's just in my feet. My feet are going like this. I'm like doing this with my hands, like worrying my hands, like, and then my body's like all stiff.
You gotta relax through it.
I couldn't relax.
Did you have music?
No, they're like, do you want to have? So I'm like, no, because I wanted to hear what they're saying because it was a concern. I'm like, what's going on?
I like the headphones because then it does tone down the sounds of the. I mean, if it's a big procedure, like if it's just cleaning or checking, then I want to know my numbers and everything. But if it's like a full procedure,
I want to know everything.
The music you can like concentrate on that and just try not to.
No, I wanted to be half aware. That's where I was like middle of the road.
Okay.
Like I want my Xanax.
I get it.
But no headphones.
Okay.
Like I want to.
You should just did one.
One headphone. I only have one earbud.
Like the kids in class do. Like
I lost one of my beats, so I only have a beat now.
You don't have beats, you have a beat.
It's really sad.
You could have done that. That would have been helpful. Next time. So they started filling the hole that they would drill out, the rot, with mercury and silver fillings. So they still use mercury and silver or sometimes gold fillings. So is mercury a controversy?
You were not here last week when I talked about mercury and lighthouses.
Oh.
how lighthouses use mercury to have the light spin at an equal rate of
And
speed.
would people die from,
And people would
like lighthouse keepers
go quote unquote mad from it. And also hat
Interesting.
makers. That's where Mad Hatter comes from.
Oh, so then with the mercury in the fillings would also cause some type of mental illness going on.
Well,
Or it's a theory.
Well, no, it's true.
Okay.
So these are called amalgams, and all my first fillings I had were this mercury, these silver fillings, as they're called. Because the white ones weren't an option when I was younger.
Mhm.
It was just the silver fillings.
Mhm.
And where I grew up, we didn't have like fluoride in our water. We had like well water, and so my teeth were like a hot mess growing up.
That's another controversy, isn't it, though, with the fluoride?
Some people, like some conspiracy theorists, think that it's like
Not
mind
good.
control.
Yeah, weird. Something weird. Yeah.
Like, why is it in all our water? It's in Spokane's water. Okay, I'm a half conspiracist. Like, I'm a half anti-vaxxer.
I like to know the information so I can make a decision.
Well, I do think it's weird that fluoride, like, they don't add anything else to our water.
But like,
why fluoride?
But why would that be a mind control substance?
No, I don't have any evidence on that. I do think it's weird that like fluoride is in our water in public drinking.
They add it in.
Yeah, they add it in. I do think that's strange.
But then the dentists give fluoride tabs to the kids. And so I don't give.
And you get fluoride in your toothpaste unless you opt out and get non-fluoride toothpaste. I don't know.
I've heard that fluoride could be weird, so then I didn't want to give the fluoride tabs.
I don't know enough about it. We need to look. Maybe future topic. Fluoride. Okay. Yeah, I just don't know enough about it. I know that some people are like absolutely against it because they think it's some kind of mind control. I just don't know.
I don't know. Okay,
but I do think it's weird that fluoride is the thing that they put in our water. Like, why not vitamin C or
anything?
Calcium. Yeah, like
the vitamins.
Yeah, why is it just fluoride? Like, that's a little strange to me. It's very specific.
Yeah, weird.
But I don't know enough to be able to speak on it confidently.
But mercury is a no-no, is a bad. It's like lead in the crib paint.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? This house was built in 1900, probably 7 layers down. There's lead paint, but they say as long as you don't lick it.
So as long as we don't lick these walls, we're gonna be fine.
I love it when that's always the advice. Just don't lick it. Okay.
That's good advice, like all around, like for most things.
Yeah. So I looked up on a government website, the FDA, about mercury fillings to see what the news is. So they're still in use today. It's because it's more inexpensive than the composite, what it's called, the white fillings. So there is low levels of mercury that does create some risk in the form of a vapor that can be inhaled and absorbed by the lungs. They said the risk is greater for children and other groups, like if you're pregnant or planning to be pregnant, or if you have some kind of like sensitivity.
Fish has mercury in it, right? And they tell you not to eat certain fish while you're pregnant because of the mercury.
So the risk is greater for kids and other groups. And they say on the FDA website, if you're considering having your amalgam fillings removed or replaced, and they're in good condition, that you really should consider that, because that process of replacing them will expose you to that mercury vapor. Now, I have had all my mercury fillings replaced, and nobody ever fucking told me there was a risk.
Why did you get them replaced? Like for
cosmetic? The dentist suggested it.
They didn't say why.
Well, they're just like, yeah,
it's about time to get them like
it was like presented as the thing to do. And I just looked up, like, I just went on like one random dentist website about this. Like, I picked the one, and the very first one.
Don't get them removed.
No, it said, come on in if you are interested in replacing unsightly silver amalgam fillings with this cosmetically pleasing alternative, like, schedule an appointment.
But they didn't say it could cause health risks.
They're not giving that health risk that you're exposed to mercury vapor.
Have you ever heard of ticks when you pop ticks?
Yes, from
It
you in your horror story.
It releases the like disease
You told me
into the
this
air.
story in detail while we were on that hike when I got attacked by lady beetles.
Yeah. Because we're like, ew, kill it. And then Nick popped it, and there was so much blood. I'm pretty sure it splattered like all over his face. He just got like diseased everywhere. And then later they're like, never pop it.
Pop it.
Put it in like nail polish remover.
But
which sounds really evil. And
yeah, that does seem mean.
I don't know. But
so
we survived, so that's good.
FDA says don't replace them unless it's medically necessary because you are exposing yourself to mercury vapor, which can have bad effects on your brain health.
Gosh.
So yet another reason that I have issues. Let's add it to the list.
Yeah.
So composite resin, those are the quote unquote white fillings, is a mix of plastic and glass, which I didn't realize. And it's appealing because it looks similar to tooth enamel. It has that like kind of shiny.
I feel like plastic in your mouth is probably not healthy for you.
I know, I didn't know it was or glass. I didn't know that. I learned so much.
Yeah.
So early dental work was done without anesthetics, as we've talked about. You might be given a shot of whiskey if you were lucky. Still, you're held down.
Just one shot? Jeez.
In my research, I saw lots of really sad videos from the 50s of little kids being held down to get dental work. They're like mouth
screaming.
Open. Well, trying to. That scream that you can only do with your mouth open. It's like, ah! Because it's like, how are you doing? You're like, ah!
I hate it when they talk to you and I'm like, I can't say anything.
Do you think they do that on purpose? I don't know any dentists. We need a dentist
to see if they mess with people.
I need insider information.
Have you ever played that game where it has like the dental damn thing and you have to like talk and you answer questions?
I've seen it on TV.
You have to like guess what the person's saying and it looks really funny because their mouths are like.
See, that's probably a dentist that thought of that game.
Yeah.
They're like, if people sound funny, let's make it a game. So in 1847, an American dentist named Horace Wells was the first to discover the use of nitrous oxide as an anesthesia.
Yay, Horace.
I never knew it was considered an anesthesia. I always thought it was more like it just put your brain in a happy place and like you didn't care as much. But it was actually considered to be effective as an anesthesia. And here's something that I thought was really interesting. This is way back in mid 1800s. It had been a recreational drug before that. And it's still a recreational drug. So
where can you get some?
No idea that.
Where do you get this from? Dentists, from shady dentists that
are
selling it out.
Okay, disclosure. High school, my group was briefly into the nitrous, and you would buy it. We used to buy ours.
The tanks for the balloons.
We would buy ours from Cost Plus World Market for the whipped cream chargers. It was these little capsules.
Whippets, right?
Yeah, whippets.
See, I was like a good kid in high school, and I was scared of drugs, and people were doing that
because it was awful.
Oh yeah,
so
I was scared. I'm like, I don't know what that's gonna do to me. That does not.
No, it caused something bad to my brain. I only did it briefly. It was like a very short window, but I ended up. After this like brief period of experimentation, like maybe just even a couple weeks here and there, not like every day or anything, but like I blacked out driving my car 70 miles an hour.
After the fact or when you were on it?
No, after. I was stone cold sober.
Whoa.
Which was a rarity.
So it's like something
there was something, and that's the only thing I can connect it to because it's not happened since then and it didn't happen before. So I never did it again.
Thank goodness it never did anything after.
But I could have died and killed my friend. My friend was in the car with me going 70 because I used to think I was Mario Andretti. Yeah, totally wrecked my car.
So wait, what is it? It's like
they're little whipped cream chargers.
What is it? What do you mean charger? Like how
do
you
know how when you do whipped cream, it's like like it adds something to it to make it puffy.
So yeah, it's the piece that they like will put. We
used to just get them at Cost Plus World Market in the baking section, the holiday section.
Oh,
So weird.
That's so weird that
I
they
mean,
would sell them.
I was like 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember people are like, this is so
I was just
fun.
the
And
very first time I tried it, it was fucking terrifying. I'd never been so out of my mind ever, ever. And it was actually just kind of a peer pressure moment because
yeah.
like the older teens were doing it, and then
Yeah.
and then I came to because you're like gone. I was gone. I was not present. I came to and they're like all laughing at me, like, "Ooh."
Oh.
Like, what was I doing? Like, I wonder, like, what was I like twitching? Like, what was I just like staring? Was I?
Well, and that's the thing. It's like some people it could affect them and make them all happy, and some people it's like not.
Yeah, but after that, like I did do it a few more times and it was like fun.
Mm.
So I think that was like an adjustment period.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of learned like, okay, just do a little or whatever. I probably went too big, too hard, too fast.
But then that thing happened.
Yeah, and then so I thought it was fun and we are kind of into it, and we'd like go to the Cost Plus and get our whipped cream.
They're like, these kids love that whipped cream.
They're really into baking, the youth of today in the 80s. Then I was like, no, never again. Like something bad is happening in my brain. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
I don't even do nitrous at the dentist. Like they offered it to me. I'm like, no. I'm always like hard pass. They're probably like, why is it such a big reaction?
Marcus, they talked me into letting him have it, and I was so nervous because basically my 7-year-old is like on drugs, and because what did he have? Just I guess it was a filling. But just they weren't sure if he was gonna get nervous and try to like get up, and so I was like, I guess to get him relaxed a little bit maybe, and he was like, oh, happy, like, not too bad, but just.
But does that like build in some kind of message that there is something out there that can take away your pain? You know,
I don't think he really knew what was going on. Like he didn't know that there was something that was happening. Because at first I was like, no way. And then they were kind of like pressuring me, like, oh yeah, it's almost like to make their job easier.
Oh,
the kids,
yeah,
like ADHD medication for
teachers,
to make it easier for them.
I wonder.
But no, because I do love my dentist, so I don't want to think that.
So using this, it was a useful discovery because it helped people relax, and it was an anesthetic. It did help with pain relief. But this wasn't a total fix because people were awake still. They're experiencing the procedure. There's still some part of it that was disturbing. So they decided, we're going to knock these fuckers out. So guess what they decided to use?
Wait, let me think.
Think back to those days, like 1800s.
Knock them out?
Chloroform.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know the movies where they have it on the rag and they like put it over
kidnap
their mouth and they like sag down. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's what they would do.
That's a good idea, though.
Just do that.
If you don't have anything
put them out. But it was really.
Do people come to from that pretty? I mean, consistently.
I don't even know. Do you use smelling salts? Like slap them? I don't know.
How long are you out?
Around?
Yeah. That's
my swollen spot. So it was very imprecise because, like, what's the right doses?
Yeah.
How long do you apply it to their face
before they die?
Yeah. So people did die.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like, okay, let's try chloroform, but no, it's not the fix.
Yeah.
So guess what they tried next?
Punching people.
Cocaine.
Oh my gosh, how it just makes them all happy, and I feel like then you're
so they used it in a hypodermic syringe as a painkiller. They'd shoot it directly into the gums, and it would numb individual teeth.
Oh,
yeah,
they're on the right track.
Yeah. I mean, one night I did cocaine when I was 15. That was it. It was like wasn't my drug. It didn't fit my personality. But I remember people were like, yeah, like rub it on your gums. Okay, gum nummies or whatever they call them.
But why
gummy numbers?
Gummy numbers.
I have no
if you don't
idea.
have
I have no idea. What people are doing. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't want my mouth numb if I don't need it to be.
I mean, in some ways, I was kind of a little bit of a follower on real life.
Or I think you're just a very curious person by nature. So if someone's suggesting something, you're like, okay, I want to see what that.
Yeah, I did like to experience things.
Yeah.
I didn't like to just observe. I'm like, that's interesting. Let me
try it. Yeah, I could see. Yeah.
So yeah, that happened, shooting cocaine into your gums. But despite all
That
this
happened.
new technology, it was still agonizing to go to the dentist.
Huh.
Then we came to World War One, and this like brought big leaps and bounds with not only like the importance of being a dentist and dental work, but pioneering life-saving reconstructive dental surgery, because people were down in those trenches in World War One and their faces were getting blown up. And so it was just completely necessary to learn how to fix people's jaws and teeth and faces so that they could,
Is this when the barbers from the surgeons became separated
they did become separated.
at this point?
I think it was a little bit before that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you no more barber, dentist, surgeons. There's too many slashes in there. Now you like have people that were really just specializing in dental work. So it came up on the pedestal.
Mhm.
It's not a lowly back alley thing for poor people. Now it's like super necessary
Mhm.
to give people quality of life. But going back to the early 1800s for a second, people would choose to have all their teeth removed rather than face a lifetime of expensive and painful dental work. So it was a choice. Like you wanted that.
Yeah.
Like take all my teeth out.
I don't want to be a gummer.
This is reminder, this is like Europe centric, my history report. So if somebody was having a 21st birthday or getting married, that would be the perfect gift to give them.
No,
Yeah.
I don't believe this. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm fat. I want to fact check. I'm turning 21. Take all my teeth out?
This is early 1800s. Look it up, England.
I don't like it.
But by the Second World War, we're focusing now on preventative dental care.
That's good.
And you want to take care of your teeth. You want to keep them as the focus. So extraction still might happen if the teeth couldn't be saved, and still happens today. Like my case, they're like, no, it's fractured. You know what the guy said that I went to the second opinion? He said catastrophic failure.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, okay.
Oh.
That's couldn't be clearer. He's like, yeah, it's gotta go.
Oh. Well, at least, yeah.
Damn it. So I was hoping he was gonna say, nope, get a new dentist because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
That would make me feel like it was a personal, like something I did wrong. Like catastrophic failure. Like, I don't know.
But it was like a 30-year-old root canal, so it lasted a long time.
And root canals are awful. I had one.
It was awful. I remember.
I'm pretty sure this is my one of my traumas, that I had a root canal done and my mouth was open for so long, and like they had like a thing in there that like kept my jaw like
I hate that.
Open like really wide. And ever since that, I have this little click in my jaw. Like if I open it really wide.
Like TMJ.
And not all the time, but like certain times, like it'll kind of like kick in and like it'll be like
you know what I hate? That rubber thing they put in. They like clip it in and it's like a rubber. I don't know the purpose of it. I always make them cut a hole in the middle of it though.
Okay, I think
because I feel like I'm being smothered.
Wait, I don't know about that thing.
I've heard of that.
Hopefully they weren't.
It's like this rubber. I don't know.
I don't know. There's just a lot happening.
There's so much
happening. I kind of see, I just have to go to my happy place and kind of like detach. Like I just kind of like disconnect from it, go like out of body experience. And,
yeah, I was definitely doing some of that.
So yeah.
But then I'd come back in, I'm like, what's happening? And they're like, no, run away, run away.
It's
you don't want to know. It's bad. Awful. It's all bad.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So now World War II, we're like, let's really keep people's teeth. And so soldiers needed to be healthy. And that meant clean, healthy teeth. And this was when the role of a dental hygienist was created, was in World War II. So they brought all these women in that were specially trained to teach the soldiers how to like brush their teeth and keep them clean. It was a whole new field. It hadn't really existed before. And this is when fluoride, controversial fluoride, came on the scene. And this, science says prevents decay. If you use a fluoride toothpaste, or you're like anti. I've gone back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know. I switched my toothpaste up.
Being a half conspiracy theorist, I like go back. I bounce back and forth.
I don't like if I see it, I'm not like, oh, I'm not gonna use fluoride. It's more of like the tablets that they give to my kids. I'm like
those red tablets, the ones that show you where to brush. Those are weird.
Oh yeah.
I don't think
there's like
I don't know if those are
separate.
fluoride or not.
Yeah, there's a separate fluoride tab that you're supposed to give, I think, daily. And when I heard that could not be good for people, then I was like, why are they pushing this fluoride? I don't know.
Why are they? These are good questions.
Yeah. So
future topic.
Yep.
In the 1960s, here's the fact you didn't believe.
No.
40%. This is 1960s.
40%?
40% of British adults had no teeth at all. By the year 2000.
Okay, not that I don't believe it, but I don't like it. Like that's so weird. Like, I don't understand why people would think that is okay or cool.
I don't think they thought it was cool. I think they thought it was necessary.
That freaks me out. Like, I don't want to see people like 21-year-olds with no teeth.
I mean, look what I went through. Like, thinking, like, the reasoning was if I don't have teeth, I don't have to deal with that.
But would they put like dentures?
No, I don't think so.
Teeth? They'd just be like, how would they
eat
their meat and stuff?
I don't know.
They become vegetarian from that point on?
Or smoothies? I'm not sure.
Like,
I don't know.
Cut your stuff really tiny.
I mean, since Wednesday, like my diet is so weird. They're like, you can't eat like they give me a list of stuff I can't eat. Guess what's on there? Rice. I eat rice almost every fucking day. How am I supposed to not eat rice?
Yeah.
I'm Asian.
Okay.
So I'm like struggling. What do I eat?
So would they take the teeth out if there was issues already, or would they take them out to prevent, like, I don't want to deal with issues coming on in the future?
Well, that was what was happening back in like the early 1800s. This, I think, this is just a guess.
Preventative?
I think this may have been like so many issues that were removed.
If you have so many issues, like, I'm going to pay for you just to take them all out.
That's just a guess.
I mean, I can understand that then, I guess.
By the year 2000, this had decreased though to 6% after the like dental hygiene, fluoride, like brush, all that. So that's good news. Yeah. So it's important to take care of your teeth.
Floss.
Obs.
Do you floss every day?
Not every day, but probably 5 days a week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but I've heard that it's like the science doesn't back it. But I feel like aesthetically the floss like makes more of the space between your teeth where it's not filled with like cheese or something,
Well, so I had a dental hygienist who I loved so much. I called her the shot whisperer because she would put shots in and you couldn't even feel it, and she would hum, and she was so relaxing.
Oh my God, my dentist hums the whole time.
It calmed me down, and she was pregnant, so like her little baby.
Something with humming.
Yeah, I don't know, but I loved her, and she said that the flossing is not just to get like, because I always thought it's to get if there's something stuck in there out, or to scrape the edges.
Yeah.
But really you're supposed to kind of like go into the gum, and like it's supposed to kind of cut into the gum a little bit to release like bacteria. Like
bloodletting.
It's supposed to like put oxygen in to kill the bacteria or something.
Or maybe bloodletting is real.
Maybe.
And we're just doing a mini version. We're
like that.
We're microdosing bloodletting in the form of flossing.
Okay.
We can cover so much on this podcast.
No.
So it's not only aesthetic, but it's functional, obviously. You can't eat, but also there's connections.
You can't eat though.
You can't eat, it's functional. But there's also connections between dental health and mental health. There's so much research that depression is linked to higher levels of decay. And then reciprocally, decay and tooth loss can lead to pain, social isolation, low self-esteem, and poor mental health. So it's both ways. And dentists can tell if we're stressed by looking at our mouth because they can see signs of tooth grinding. Canker sores are signs of stress.
I tooth grind.
TMJ.
I have all the things.
I have all the things.
Wait,
Yeah.
what was the first one? I don't have the first one.
Tooth grinding.
No, second one.
Canker sores.
No.
Because they can be related to stress.
I've had those before. They're awful, but I don't get those.
Yeah, I don't get them very often. Maybe once in a while. TMJ, no. So yeah, there's definitely a connection. Lots of science behind connection between what's going on with our teeth, mouth, jaw, and what's going on.
I got like this
mental
night
health
guard
wise.
because I grind my teeth because I have really bad nightmares, and so I have to like.
Does it help?
I just don't wear it consistently, but it does help.
Because it's weird.
Yeah, I don't like the feeling of it.
I understand. So today, a set of like pearly white teeth, full set. This continues to be a mark of healthy, wealthy, successful. So if you can't afford it, your insurance is not going to pay for a tooth replacement. Like I'm paying cash for my implant. Like if you are on like state Medicaid,
you'd have no tooth.
They'll pull the tooth out, if you have a medical reason, that'll be paid for, but they're not going to replace it.
Sure.
So it's still definitely connected.
Well,
with
all
money.
The celebrities that have like
their veneers, their perfect veneers.
Which is a whole other thing because some of them are so bad and it's like they make them too big for the people's mouths, and I don't like them all the time. Like when you see celebrities with these perfect big horse chompers, I'm not a fan.
And I feel like that to me, like I would never do that because that's
take your character too.
Well, it's so fake. Like if those fell off and like there'd be this big reveal of my real tooth. Like I don't ever want to have like a huge difference between who I am and who I'm trying to be, like that drastic. Even when I had all that makeup on at Mace's wedding, I felt like a little bit of like, oh, what's going on here?
We still needed to make that appointment with Jennifer
to get our lashes.
Just to do it. See, that's the curiosity part. I'm like, I just want to see what it's
about. Because I definitely was like, oh, I'm like, feel just stunning.
You ever go
Suddenly, I'm a supermodel. But then I was like, also couldn't wait to wash it off at the end of the day. Like, it just feels like a lot and like a mask and yeah, I don't know. Like,
do you know Hillary Duff?
Yeah.
She had some and it was like they made them too big for her mouth and it just was so distracting and it took away from her original beauty, in my opinion. And I think finally she went and got them like redone to make them fit her face better. But I think sometimes a lot of people look so much cuter with their natural little snaggle teeth and like
I agree,
like little weird characteristics going on. And then when you make everything so perfect, it's like
you're not special.
Right.
Like what makes me special? Yeah. Like I'm special because I have 4 less teeth than everyone else. Well, 5 now. God damn it! John's going across the room. I named him last podcast.
Oh, John? Why John?
I don't know. I think it's a good Christian name. He came as a part of a nativity scene.
Oh, okay. I was like, why
do you not know John's backstory?
I have no idea why we have a decapitated baby doll head in here.
Porcelain baby doll head. Well, last year, before the holidays, I stumbled across quite a deal. It was a box of 8 ceramic dolls.
Okay.
And I bought them. They're only $5.
Okay.
And I started looking at them and I realized, oh, this is part of a nativity scene. Baby Jesus was not in the set. I was a little upset.
Oh.
So it was all the others. John had it.
Oh, Luke, Paul. Who else are the guys? Mark.
You tell me.
John.
You tell me. I don't know.
I think that's it.
But
I don't know.
I displayed them in my office.
Yeah.
Briefly. through the holidays, and then they started staring at me a lot.
Yeah,
and
I don't like porcelain dolls.
I got kind of weirded
They,
out
like,
about him.
move
Also,
their eyes,
I'm
like,
Jewish, and it was kind of weird that I did a nativity scene missing Jesus
That's why I was
in
wondering
my office.
why you named him a Christian. Yeah, I'm like,
Well, because
he was part. Now I know.
he was part, yeah. The reason he has no head is when I took them out of the box initially, his head immediately fell off. So he actually didn't get to enjoy the nativity scene through the holidays.
He had such a better life. Like,
but I felt like I had to display them, so I displayed them for like 3 weeks, and then it came like almost February, and I'm like, okay, I gotta take these down, put them back in the box, and then I'm like, I don't know what to do with these.
Yeah,
it was weird. Like I can't throw them away because they're like religious. So like that'd be weird.
Bury them.
I offered them to a lot of people. Nobody wanted them.
And if you
like they're
put
creepy.
In your closet, like I'd be scared they come out at night.
I tried to take them back to the thrift store. I bought them. They wouldn't take them.
Oh, because
they're like, no, they're creepy, and we didn't want them in the first place.
We would have given them.
That's why they were only $5.
You could have talked us down to $1.
So I just sat them in my box for a long time, for several months, and then finally I just I kept John's head.
You could have Goodwill them.
I felt that's what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I just took the box, and I felt weird about it. I just like gave the box and like ran away. I know. I felt like, oh my gosh,
they're coming for me. Yes. They're coming back for revenge tonight.
But somehow John's head got left behind, and
now he's part of the family.
He's part of the podcast. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's the history of dental work.
Have you seen did you ever watch Ghost Hunters?
I've watched some. I don't know which one you mean.
I mean, just that show in general. Like those guys are.
Oh, I don't know.
Because there's a lot of different.
Ghost I don't know if I watch like the name brand.
I think Ghost Hunters specifically, I really like those guys. They seemed legit. Like they weren't just like putting on a show. Like they were really connecting to things. And there was one episode where they went to Doll Island.
Oh, I've seen that.
Oh, that's one of the scariest.
Where is that?
I don't know.
It looks tropical.
Yeah, and you had like take a boat up. I mean, obviously it's an island, and there's like for some reason
I got creeped out.
I think that'd be a good topic of like what's happening there. Why were all those dolls placed? They talk about it. I don't remember, but supposedly like dolls will make noises in the middle of the night, like the ones that like say "mama" or whatever, or like they like blink, like have their eyes pop open and.
Now I threw John over on the couch on his head. No, is he mad?
What if he just turns? That freaks me out. I do not like baby dolls like that.
No.
Even like Stella's, the ones that like open the eyes, they scare me. Or like there's just one.
Well, luckily, yeah, that's hers because she's like done so many weird facial treatments to them that like, their eyes don't move anymore.
Yeah.
And she has one that's like permanent wink because she's like fed it food and washed its face, and it's not happening. Last episode, what did we talk about? I think that was the lighthouse one.
Mercury.
Talked about a mystery. Macy's not here. I can't remember what she talked about.
I know that actually was perfect timing.
Was fascinating
because when she popped in, I was out, and then she couldn't come tonight.
I know because I can't talk. We're gonna have the full coven.
We have to.
Okay. Please be our patron on Patreon. It's only $1. You get exclusive videos, and it really supports our gas money and wine. Until next time.
Look up fluoride and see if it's good for you or not.
Yeah, look it up yourself. And brush and floss every day. They say 2 minutes to brush, right?
Oh,
sing happy birthday, or is that hand washing?
Probably both. I could work for both. But I was gonna say really quick, I had got this, it's like a water pick. Have you ever heard of those?
Yes.
And they blast water between your teeth, and it feels really good.
My family had those in the 70s. It's a 70s thing.
But I mean, I think they've like updated it, and it's really nice. You put like warm water, and it's better than flossing, and it just like blasts your teeth. But then I guess I don't know, because then you don't get the bloodletting from that.
I know. Well, maybe you need to blast it extra hard and make it bleed.
You can like turn it.
Crank it up.
I put it on like a
crank that fucker up. Report back. If you bleed, I will buy it.